Thanks for staying. I am Araba Aidoo. This morning, Minister for Foreign Affairs, Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa, has reaffirmed government's commitment to streamlining the passport acquisition process, stressing that the activities of middlemen who exploit the system will no longer be tolerated under the new reforms. Speaking at a press briefing, the minister disclosed that over 79,000 passports have so far been successfully delivered directly to applicants by courier services, with no deliveries made to third parties. Mr. Ablakwa also revealed that Parliament will soon consider and approve the new fees and charges bill, which seeks to reduce passport application fees from 500 cedis to 350 cedis, making the service more accessible and affordable to all Ghanaians.
The courier companies are under strict instruction. The contract they have signed with us, the contract requires that you must show evidence that it is you. Passports are security documents. We are not about to give our passports to non-Ghanaians or people who are not the real owners of these passports. So we want to send out a clear warning to those who want to infiltrate, those Goro boys who are not having their way and want to now fashion a new entry point, that they will not be tolerated. And courier companies have been told they are not allowed to deliver passports to third parties or to middlemen. It's not allowed. The only exception we have created is for minors. And even with those minors, there has to be a clear linkage that you are a parent or a guardian.
Well, the Minister for Foreign Affairs, Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa, is also urging calm following formal communication from the U.S. government regarding a possible imposition of travel restrictions on Ghana. According to the minister, the U.S. authorities have raised concerns over Ghana's visa overstay rates, particularly among students, with figures indicating that 21% of Ghanaian students exceed their visa duration, a situation that could trigger restrictions under the U.S. immigration policy. Now, Mr. Ablakwa, however, indicated that the public that government is actively engaging with the U.S. officials to prevent any such ban.
The ban, according to U.S. officials, will affect countries not complying with some 12 items. A criteria that they have outlined. Those 12 items, as they have formally communicated to us, they are varying. They cut across a wide array of matters of concern to U.S. authorities, including terrorism, countries that fund terrorism, state-sponsored terrorism. It includes countries that have become havens for violent extremists to operate. It's on the list. Then they are also talking about countries not cooperating with the ongoing deportations that the Trump administration is carrying out. Then there are issues to do with overstays. So countries that have a high rate of overstays. The engagements, I must say, are going well because the U.S. authorities have confirmed that apart from overstays, all those really very, if you like, troubling matters to do with terrorism, harboring criminals, refusing to accept deportees, we don't fall under that category.
Away from that, the government has assured the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association that it remains committed in fulfilling its promises and does not intend to disappoint them on their next meeting. Deputy Minister of Health Alexander Kwesi-Arquah expressed hope that the association will uphold its decision to suspend any planned strike while urging continued dialogue. This followed renewed ultimatum issued by the nurses and midwives demanding governments to implement 4 items agreed upon not later than July or risk another industrial action. Let's still stay on this, as the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association yesterday issued a fresh ultimatum to government to implement their long overdue condition of service by the end of July or risk industrial action. This renewed warning follows what the association describes as the unilateral suspension of a crucial meeting scheduled for yesterday involving government representatives, the Parliamentary Select Committee on Health, and the association. Now, President of the association, Perpetual Feriampofu, addressed the press here in Accra.
Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association says it initially called off its planned strike due to the intervention of the Parliamentary Select Committee on Health and appeals from the general public, especially patients. However, the rescheduling of the meeting to July 10, 2025, due to the absence of key stakeholders currently out of the country, does not prevent the government from fulfilling its part of the agreement.
Due to this development, the National Council of the Association at its meeting held on 25th June 2025 deliberated extensively on the content of the letter and wishes to state as follows. 1. The strike was suspended in good faith, and we expect nothing less than a reciprocity of same. The rescheduling of the meeting, in our view, is in bad faith, since it may further delay the implementation of the agreed items. We have, however, decided to give the committee the benefit of hindsight and still trust that their engagement with the Ministries of Health and Finance will be productive.
The association is demanding the implementation of 4 non-negotiable items: an 8% non-basic allowance, uniform allowance, fuel allowance, and book and research allowance, all by the end of July. Failure, she says, will trigger further action.
We demand the implementation of the 4 agreed items not later than July 2025. This is non-negotiable, and we shall advise ourselves if any attempt is made to further delay the implementation. 3. With the other items, we wish to reiterate our position that we are amenable to their implementation no later than January 2026. 4. We demand that these timelines are clearly captured and signed off at the 10th July 2025 meeting to avoid any ambiguity in the implementation schedule.
The Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association has called on all nurses and midwives to remain resolute and await further directives from the National Council.
Well, there you have it. Let's now shift our attention to another developing issue, of course, on the anti-gay bill, where Member of Parliament for Old Tafo, Vincent Ekowasifua, has defended his petition for President John Dramani Mahama to publicly condemn what he describes as the desecration of Ghana's sacred national monument by homosexual activists. He says the president cannot keep quiet on this development and must also question his ministers on how two South African gays gained access to the Independence Square and the Kwame Nkrumah Mausoleum site for photographs. The two South African men, identified as Rue and Liu, allegedly took deliberate photographs at the sites, which the MP describes as sacred symbols of national pride and the sacrifices of Ghana's forefathers.
Over this matter. He cannot keep quiet over this matter because of where this actually happened. This happened at the Independence Square, for Christ's sake. And I am even told that there were other pictures that were taken at the Kwame Nkrumah Mausoleum. The president cannot keep quiet. I mean, it is for the optics. Anyhow, His Excellency the President will condemn what happened and even seek answers from its national security apparatus. I think that it will be good because it is just for the optics. I mean, for people to know that Ghana as a state does not support anything LGBTQ. If you allow people to take pictures or if you like have occasion in such a manner at the Independence Square, I mean, without the President of the Republic saying anything about it, especially when it has become topical, that would be very suicidal for us as far as our position on this matter is concerned. Before now, His Excellency the President had the occasion to tell the Christian community, the Ghana Catholic Bishop Conference, that any time that he has the opportunity, he is going to deal with this LGBTQ. I am beginning to think that all these things were political talks. They were political talks because His Excellency the President, at the beginning of his tenure, had the occasion to meet the Ghana Catholic Bishop Conference. What did he really say about it? There was a direct distinction between what he said when he met the Ghana Catholic Bishop Conference at the beginning of his tenure and what he told them last year at KNUST. He was very clear about his position, which made the Christian community rise on their feet and gave him a standing ovation about his position that he held at the time. So today, he cannot be seen to be quiet.
Now, on to one of our headline stories, where in a surprising event, the Bank of Ghana has allegedly reversed its earlier decision to terminate the appointments of nearly 100 personnel recruited in December 2024 following growing public attention and internal discussions. The decision, which had initially been justified by the central bank as a routine post-probation review, is now shrouded in uncertainty, with the latest move raising concerns about the original grounds for the layoffs. The sources confirmed the affected staff have been informed that their contracts will no longer be terminated as earlier communicated. The source also says the decision was taken at a board meeting held this week and that the affected staff have been asked to resume work next week. However, the central bank is yet to issue an official statement explaining the reversal, but internal sources say pressure from within and outside the institution may have influenced the change in the course. Earlier, the Bank of Ghana had defended its action, saying the termination followed a rigorous evaluation process conducted by the Human Resource and Capacity Development Department. The bank cited considered performance outcomes, alignment with the bank's values, and the potential to contribute meaningfully to its strategic objectives as criteria for non-confirmation. Now, about 95 individuals did not pass the probationary assessment and were issued termination letters dated 19 June 2025 with an effective termination date of 23rd June. The affected recruits were entitled to 1 month's salary in lieu of notice and asked to return all institutional property. However, this latest reversal casts cast doubts on whether the original termination decision was entirely performance-based. Some insiders suggest the move may have been influenced by legal concerns or reputational risks, especially given the sensitive timing of the recruitments, most of which occurred just after the 2024 general elections. Ghana is stepping up its fight against drug abuse with a renewed focus on prevention, compassion, and community vigilance. Speaking at the 2025 International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Trafficking, Vice President of the Republic, Professor GHOne emphasized the urgent need for practical solutions in tackling substance abuse disorder. She called for compassion toward affected individuals and stressed that addressing the root causes is key to building a safer and more prosperous Ghana.
World Drug Report are troubling. Hundreds of millions of people use illicit drugs, and many of them are battling drug use disorders. This must serve as a call to action. We cannot be passive in our approach. Ghana is investing in practical preventative solutions to address the root causes of substance abuse. Permit me, therefore, to commend the Narcotics Control Commission for their dedication. Their recent operations, both independent and with international partners, have resulted in the seizure of large volumes of illicit substances and dismantled criminal syndicates. And this has happened in Ghana, West Africa, and in Europe. The destruction of over 16 metric tons of seized drugs just last week is proof that we are active in this fight. Every gram destroyed is potentially a life saved.
And that's it for GA Today News with me, Evelyn, Araba, Aidoo. But don't go yet, as we do on every Friday. Stay tuned and listen to some refreshing hip